Welcome to Jeremiah Sports Talks. This is where we take a few minutes, talk about leadership and life, right from my front porch here in Sykesville, Maryland. Rain or shine, this is a time for us to reflect, reset, and get ready for whatever comes next in our respective journeys. I'm Jeremiah. Thanks for joining me. Today, I want to talk for a few minutes about something very simple, but very powerful. And that is the pep talk. Not the performative kind, but the real kind. The kind that builds belief when there's not much left to hold on to. And I want to do so by starting off with a story. Years ago, during the height of the crisis for my youngest daughter, I became her morning pep talk. Every single day on our drive to school, she had been diagnosed with early onset psychosis, and those days were very hard. She was panicked, she was overwhelmed, and she was confused about the world around her. Some days, she'd start the morning in tears, and sometimes barely make it through a few hours before we got a call to come pick her up, because she was just overwhelmed. No one really saw how heavy this was except those who were walking very closely with her and her immediate family, my wife, her sister, and directly on her support team. So every morning, during our 30-minute drive to school, I tried to speak life into her. I reminded her of who she was. Not just the symptoms or the fear, but the core of her identity. That she was strong, that she's valuable, that she's deeply loved. I reminded her of the few coping tools we had at the time, and I told her that she could make it through the day. I reminded her that she's a fighter, that she's a lion, and I would remind her of other times in her life that she overcame things in order to strengthen her confidence. This was the birthing of my sort of understanding of what I call legendary hope. It was a choice for me to believe in the goodness of things with super intentionality, despite the wretched things that were happening in the moment. Now, here's what's beautiful about all of this. 9 years later, today, before I leave for work each day, she makes sure that she gets a couple minutes with me, and she gives me pep talks. I'll be getting ready to walk out the door, carrying the weight of whatever meeting or mess of the day that might hold, and she'll just look at me with those resolute, resilient, brilliant green eyes of hers, and she'll say, "Dad, you got this." Mind you, she still struggles daily with her condition, but she's stronger now. And this 4-word phrase, "Dad, you got this," is her version of what I used to do with her. You see, she knows when I'm struggling, and she knows the power of a good pep talk to get your day started off right. And I don't miss the significance of that. Switching gears just slightly, I want to share what it means to have really good relationships or friends in your life who can also give you this sort of pep talk when needed. Just yesterday, I had a rough day. I was frustrated, I was discouraged, and I was a little bit drained. Maybe you've been there too. I picked up the phone and I called a friend after work was over. And I told them, "Hey man, I need a pep talk." And you know what they did? They fumbled. They didn't know what to tell me. But here's what surprised me next. Even though they didn't have the perfect words to say, I felt better. Because what I really needed wasn't a solution. I just needed someone in my corner, and I needed to know that someone was in my corner. Sometimes we think encouragement has to be polished or profound, but most days, it just needs to be really simple. People don't always need advice. Sometimes they just need a hand to hold and a word of grace, or someone to believe in them long enough for them to believe in themselves again. This isn't just a feel-good message. There's real science behind all of this. There's a 2021 peer-studied article in the Journal of Applied Psychology, and it found that a short motivational message from a trusted person in your life improved persistence and performance under pressure, especially when the message focused on self-belief and resilience rather than just the task at hand. And there was another study in the Emotion Journal in 2017 that showed that for people who receive affirming encouragement during stressful periods, that actually reduces their stress levels. It helps them better emotional regulation and stronger problem-solving ability. Encouragement isn't fluff, it's neurologically grounding. You see, a good pep talk isn't just heard, it's felt in the person's nervous system. It helps them relax and believe in a brighter future. So why does this matter? In a world that moves fast and critiques even faster, we all need reminders that we are more than just our tough days, more than our setbacks, and more than whatever limitations that we have. And maybe, just maybe, the person you're pouring into today will be the person who lifts you up tomorrow, just like my daughter. So here's our challenge. Give one real pep talk this week. The real kind. The I see you for who you are and I believe in you kind of pep talk. It could be a coworker. It could be a child. It could be a spouse. It could be a friend who barely is holding it together. And if you're the person who needs that pep talk, be brave enough to ask for it. You might be surprised how ready someone else is willing to speak into your life, even if they fumble through it. Encouragement costs nothing, but it can change someone you care about's life. That's it for today. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me on Jeremiah's Porch Talks. Rain or shine, I'll see you next time. And always remember to keep the most important things the most important things.